All right, you guys, it is another hair tutorial. So we are doing my mother-in-law's hair today. She has the best hair ever. I'm so jealous of it. She's like a natural level 6 and she has blonde hair. She usually does it herself at home. She highlights it and it's pretty impressive, but we are doing it today. We're gonna give her a low maintenance look. So we're gonna be doing 3 different formulas. I'm gonna do some highlights with Blonde Me 20 Volume Schwarzkopf. I'm gonna do some low lights and shadow lights with Redken Shades EQ, 7NB, 6N, and then I'm gonna do some gray coverage with Goldwell Top Chic 6NN, 7NN with 20 volume. So I'm going to show you guys the whole process, what we do to apply, what we do to tone, and then how it looks at the end. So if you're interested in watching this, stay tuned. All right, you guys, so this is her before. She actually does her own hair at home, and you can see that that's pretty obvious right here. Love you, Sharon. But you can see that she has a little bit of banding, some warmth. She does a pretty good job for doing it at home, but we do kind of want to clean it up a little bit for her. So we are going to be doing this whole process starting out with the highlights. So I did a little bit of bricklaying in the back, and I basically just did highlights from like the middle of the head up because the bottom was pretty dark, and since we are wanting it to be lived in, I don't necessarily need to highlight that. So I did all of the highlights. I kind of just did a combination of baby lights up to the root and then some thicker highlights that were feathered in, not all the way up. And now I am going through and adding low lights and shadow lights. This is going to help break it up and extend that base color down further so it doesn't look like a natural harsh regrowth. This is going to give us that base color brought throughout her ends so that it does look sun-kissed and natural. So I am doing this low light technique, and I am bringing some of them all the way through, which is a low light. And then what we like to call a shadow light is where I just do it about halfway down. It basically extends that root color about halfway to give it that shadowed or smudged appearance, but keeps the ends brighter. Okay, and this is where the gray coverage comes into play. I am doing this before I do all of the foils because I want those foils to process after the gray coverage has been in, so that A, the gray coverage has enough time to process, and B, I can place the foils around where that base color is. She doesn't have a ton of gray. We just call it a little bit of a sparkle. Luckily, her gray hair isn't coarse or wiry. It kind of feels like her own natural hair texture, but it does stand out. So we're going to be covering that using Goldwell Top Chic 7N and 6NN, equal parts with 20 volume. And I like to comb that through so it's a nice natural blend. And then after that, I'm going to go through and add the foils of the highlights and the lowlights afterwards. And then we are obviously going to be giving her a focused money piece so that it's bright around the face as well. So in the back section, I added more highlights because she was darker back there, but up here in the front, she actually has more blonde. So I'm actually adding in more low lights than I am highlights to break it up so that it matches the back. So you'll see me doing more low lights here. That's why I'm doing them first instead of going back through and adding them after like I did in the back. And then I'm gonna switch it up and do random highlights the same way as I'm doing these low lights. All right, and then I definitely did focused money piece foils, and then I teased out the ends of that money piece just to make it pop even more. Now we are going to let her process. She processed about 45 minutes total. Luckily, she lifts pretty well, especially since we used finer sections. So this is what it looks like as she is processing. Something else I did was after that gray coverage was in, I actually took the low light color and blended it from the gray coverage down to the mids so that it would be the gray coverage to that mid color and then her blonde ends. Here she is sitting in the root smudge. You can see that we smudged it down a little bit further than I would for like a blonde that was to the root, and then we let that money piece sit till the very end, and I just barely tapped it so that it does stay brighter around the face, and then I'm just kind of brushing and combing it all through so it blends really well. So I put the formulas up there for the root and the end toner so you guys can see, but this color turned out so, so beautiful. I'm so obsessed with it. All right, I am so obsessed with the way that turned out. She has the best hair ever. I know we're all jealous that that is all her own hair and not extensions, but I just wanted to say thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you learned something. If you did, please comment below and let me know what it was. And thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for the next one.